I've been shot. The voice whispered desperately into the phone, barely audible against the background noise. It was 4:13 in the morning on July 23rd, 2024, when Chrissy Jenkins made her final call for help. The emergency dispatcher tried to get more information, but the line went silent. Within minutes, police cruisers raced through the quiet streets of Amite City, Louisiana, their sirens cutting through the night. Officers arrived at the modest home on West Martin Luther King Street to find a scene that would haunt them for years to come. The front door stood slightly ajar, no signs of forced entry. Inside, the officers discovered two bodies, Chrissy Jenkins and Christopher Hegwood, both with multiple gunshot wounds. The couple, parents to young children, lay motionless in their own home, victims of what appeared to be a calculated attack. Blood spatter analysis would later suggest the shooter stood close to the victims, indicating they likely knew their attacker. The children, thankfully, were staying with relatives that night, spared from witnessing the horror that unfolded in their home. As dawn broke over Amite City, crime scene technicians worked methodically, collecting shell casings, fingerprints, and DNA samples that would eventually lead them to a suspect no one expected. Amite City, a small town of just over 4,000 residents in Tangipahoa Parish, had always prided itself on its close-knit community where neighbors knew each other by name. Located about 70 miles northwest of New Orleans, this rural community was a place where people left doors unlocked and children played freely in front yards until sunset. The double homicide of Chrissy Jenkins and Christopher Hegwood shattered this sense of security overnight. Fear spread through the community like wildfire. Parents began keeping their children indoors. Neighbors who once chatted freely across fences now exchanged nervous glances. Local businesses reported decreased foot traffic as residents limited their outings to essential errands only. The brutal nature of the killings, multiple gunshot wounds and what appeared to be an execution-style murder, left everyone wondering who among them could commit such violence, and more frighteningly, who might be next. Have you ever shared personal disputes online without considering who might be watching? Before we continue this tragic story, take a moment to comment below about whether you think social media makes us more vulnerable to real-world danger. Your experiences might help others recognize warning signs before it's too late. Throughout this investigation, we'll examine how a decade-long relationship between Chrissy Jenkins and Christopher Hegwood ended in tragedy, and the crucial role that social media played in their deaths. You'll learn how their public Facebook Live arguments exposed personal conflicts to dangerous individuals and potentially contributed to their murder. We'll trace the investigation from those first desperate moments when police arrived at the crime scene through the months-long hunt for justice that eventually led to the arrest of 21-year-old Ryan Snow. We'll explore the forensic evidence that connected him to the murders and the questions that still remain about his motive. Most importantly, this story contains vital lessons about protecting yourself and your loved ones in the digital age. You'll discover specific warning signs that indicate when online conflicts might be escalating toward real-world violence. We'll share expert advice on maintaining privacy settings, recognizing threatening behavior, and knowing when to involve authorities. By the end of this video, you'll understand how the choices we make online can have devastating consequences in real life. The story of Chrissy and Christopher serves as a powerful reminder that in today's interconnected world, the line between virtual disputes and physical danger has become dangerously thin. Christina Chrissy Jenkins was born and raised in Amite City, a daughter of the community in every sense. Growing up in a neighborhood where opportunities were scarce, Chrissy developed a resilience that defined her character. Friends described her as fiercely loyal, with a laugh that could fill a room and a temper that could clear one just as quickly. By 25, she had already faced more hardships than many face in a lifetime. Despite dropping out of high school in 10th grade, Chrissy was street smart and resourceful. She worked a series of jobs, cashier at the local grocery, housekeeper at a nearby motel, and occasionally styling hair from her home. Every dollar she earned went toward creating better opportunities for her children. Those kids were her world, recalled her cousin Tamika. She'd go without eating to make sure they had what they needed. Chrissy's social media profiles revealed a young woman who loved bright colors, bold fashion, and unfiltered self-expression. Her Facebook page was filled with photos of her children, inspirational quotes about overcoming struggles, and occasional heated exchanges with those who crossed her. Behind her tough exterior was a dreamer who spoke often about moving her family away from Amite City to somewhere with more chances for the kids. Christopher Hegwood's path mirrored Chrissy's in many ways. Born to a single mother who struggled with addiction, Christopher learned early to fend for himself. By 16, he was already working construction jobs under the table, developing skills that would later help him provide for his growing family. Those who knew him described a complex man, gentle with his children, but quick to defend his pride when challenged. Christopher was known throughout Amite City for his distinctive laugh and passion for video games. He could play those games all night and still be the first one up for work. Remembered his childhood friend Marcus. Man had hustle. Despite never finishing high school, Christopher was mechanically inclined, often fixing neighbors' cars and appliances for extra cash or as favors to those in need. His criminal record showed minor offenses in his youth, mostly trespassing and petty theft, before a more serious charge in 2019 led to a 14-month incarceration. During this time, Christopher wrote letters to his children weekly, filled with drawings and promises of a better future. Those who served time with him noted his efforts to stay out of prison politics and his constant talk about returning to his family. All he talked about was getting home to Chrissy and those kids, said a former cellmate. Chrissy and Christopher met at a neighborhood cookout in 2014 when she was 20 and he was 22. Friends recall their connection was immediate and intense. Within 6 months, they were living together in a small rental on the east side of Amite City. Their relationship produced 2 children, a daughter born in 2015 and a son in 2017. Christopher also had a son from a previous relationship who often stayed with them on weekends. Their home was described as lively and chaotic. There was always music playing, kids running around, and something cooking on the stove, remembered Christopher's sister Chelsea. The couple established clear roles. Christopher worked construction jobs, while Chrissy managed the household and took on part-time work when finances were tight. Despite limited resources, they celebrated birthdays and holidays with enthusiasm, often posting elaborate family photos online.
A cry for help in a 911 call led deputies to a heartbreaking scene in Tangipahoa Parish. The woman in that call saying she'd been shot. Deputies found the woman and her boyfriend dead in their home in Amite. News 2's Destiny Beasley was there as family members arrived at the scene.
Sylvia, pain was etched on the faces of everyone there. The victims, Chrissy Jenkins and Christopher Hegwood, had been together for 10 years and leave behind 3 children.
I pick up the phone, it's just the worst news they in. It's little sister would want to hear about their big brother.
Around 5 o'clock Tuesday morning, Chelsea Hegwood got the devastating phone call that her older brother, Christopher Hegwood, and his girlfriend of 10 years, Chrissy Jenkins, were murdered. Other family members who did not want to speak on camera tell me they found out about the double homicide from word of mouth. And when they arrived at the couple's home, they found it surrounded by yellow tape.
We believe, as I understand it, the female victim made that initial call, reported that she had been shot, and that's what prompted the response.
Tangipahoa Parish Sheriff Gerald Sticker says that's when they found Jenkins and Hegwood dead inside the home on the 600 block of MLK Street. Chelsea said she last saw her brother Christopher 2 weeks ago and wasn't aware of any issues he was dealing with.
He's the type of person that he's just so willing and so giving. So I don't understand why somebody would do this.
This is a sad day in the community of Amite as family and friends mourn the death of their loved ones, Christopher Hegwood and Chrissy Jenkins, and this crime is still unsolved.
It's very unfortunate that this occurred, but we will do everything in our power to determine who did this and bring them to justice.
State Police, the Tangipahoa Sheriff's Office, and Amite Police are working together to identify and arrest the killer. Sylvia.
Their relationship was passionate in all aspects, with public declarations of love, followed sometimes by equally public arguments. Neighbors became accustomed to their pattern of intense disagreements, followed by affectionate reconciliations. They fought hard but loved harder, said a longtime neighbor. You'd hear them arguing one night, then see them walking hand in hand the next morning like nothing happened. This volatility became a defining characteristic of their decade together, visible to anyone who followed them on social media. Beyond financial struggles, the couple weathered Christopher's incarceration, temporary separations, and the scrutiny of Child Protective Services after a neighbor reported an argument that turned physical. Through it all, they maintained their commitment, with Chrissy telling friends, "We're broken separately, but somehow we work together. That's just our way." For Chrissy and Christopher, social media wasn't just a pastime. It was a digital stage where their lives played out in real time. Both maintained active Facebook profiles, posting multiple times daily about everything from family milestones to personal frustrations. Chrissy, particularly prolific online, shared makeup tutorials, dance videos with her children, and lengthy status updates about her daily struggles and triumphs. Christopher's online presence focused more on gaming achievements, car modifications, and occasional philosophical musings about fatherhood and loyalty. Together, they documented their relationship through countless photos, relationship status updates that changed during arguments, and public conversations that ranged from affectionate to confrontational. Their combined friends list numbered over 2,000 people, many of whom they had never met in person. This digital openness created a false sense of intimacy with followers who felt they knew the couple personally. As one online friend later told investigators, "I never met them face to face, but I knew when they were fighting, making up, or having money problems. Their whole life was right there for anyone to see." The couple's most revealing online behavior began in early 2024, when they started using Facebook Live to broadcast their arguments in real time. What started as Chrissy's solo venting sessions about relationship frustrations evolved into heated exchanges where both partners aired grievances publicly. These live streams often attracted hundreds of viewers who commented, took sides, and occasionally escalated tensions with their input. A particularly volatile broadcast from April 2024 showed Chrissy accusing Christopher of messaging other women, while he countered with claims about her spending habits. As the argument intensified, viewers could hear their children crying in the background. Comments poured in, some urging calm, others encouraging more dramatic confrontation. The video remained online for weeks, accumulating thousands of views and hundreds of comments from locals and strangers alike. These public disputes extended beyond their relationship. Both Chrissy and Christopher engaged in online conflicts with neighbors, former friends, and family members. One recurring antagonist was a local man known only as DT in their posts, who Christopher accused of disrespecting Chrissy at a convenience store. This conflict played out across multiple platforms, with threats exchanged and mutual acquaintances choosing sides. What began as a minor incident became an ongoing feud documented for anyone to follow, including those with harmful intentions. By June 2024, the tone of the couple's social media posts had shifted dramatically. Chrissy began sharing cryptic warnings about watching your back and knowing who's really loyal. In a Facebook Live session just 3 weeks before their deaths, she spoke directly to unnamed individuals. "Y'all think this is a game, but we see everything. We know who's been driving past our house at night." Christopher's posts became increasingly defensive and territorial. He shared images of newly installed security cameras and made veiled references to being strapped and ready for whatever. When friends commented with concern, he dismissed them, writing, "Some people gonna learn the hard way not to test us." His final post, made just 26 hours before the murders, read, "Fake friends, fake family, fake love. Only real thing in this world is me protecting mine." Most alarming were the direct exchanges with other local individuals that contained barely concealed threats. In one comment thread from early July, an unidentified user wrote, "Keep running your mouth and see what happens." To which Christopher replied, "My door's always open if you're feeling brave." These public challenges created a dangerous atmosphere where backing down would mean losing face in front of hundreds of online spectators. Have you ever revealed too much about your personal conflicts online? Pause this video and share in the comments whether you've ever regretted something you posted during an emotional moment. What boundaries do you set for yourself on social media? Your insights might help someone avoid dangerous oversharing. The couple's digital behavior created a perfect storm of vulnerability. By broadcasting their arguments, they inadvertently advertised their relationship weaknesses to potential predators. Their habit of posting in real time revealed their location patterns and home security details. The public feuds with others established a clear list of potential enemies and motives. Perhaps most dangerously, their online presence normalized conflict in their lives. Friends and family became desensitized to their expressions of fear or warnings, viewing them as just another dramatic post, rather than genuine cries for help. When Chrissy posted about feeling unsafe in the weeks before her death, the message received only laughing emojis and dismissive comments. A tragic missed opportunity for intervention that might have saved 2 lives. The 48 hours before the murders revealed a pattern of escalating tension. On Monday, July 21st, Chrissy and Christopher attended a neighborhood barbecue, where witnesses later reported they argued with a group of young men. Security camera footage from a nearby convenience store captured Christopher in a heated exchange with an unidentified male around 9:30 that evening. Chrissy posted on Facebook shortly after, "Some people really testing my patience today. Don't push me." Tuesday morning, July 22nd, began routinely. Christopher left for a construction job at 6 a.m., while Chrissy took their children to her mother's house, explaining they would stay overnight because she needed to handle some business. Around noon, she went live on Facebook while driving, visibly upset and claiming someone had threatened Christopher at his worksite. The 15-minute video showed her repeatedly checking her rearview mirror, convinced she was being followed. That evening, the couple ordered pizza delivery at 8:27 p.m., their last meal. At 10:45, neighbors reported hearing raised voices from their home. Christopher's final phone call was made at 11:58 p.m. to his sister Chelsea, lasting just under 2 minutes. The content of this conversation remains unknown. Between midnight and 4 a.m., the estimated time of the murders, their home security camera mysteriously stopped recording, creating a crucial gap in the timeline. First responders arrived at 4:27 a.m. to find the front door unlocked and slightly open. Inside, the living room showed no signs of struggle. The pizza box still on the coffee table with 2 half-empty glasses beside it. Detective Marcus Williams, the lead investigator, noted this suggested the couple had been comfortable with whoever entered their home that night. Chrissy was found in the hallway leading to the bedroom, her phone still clutched in her hand after making the 911 call. Christopher was discovered in the bedroom doorway, positioned in a way that suggested he had been moving toward Chrissy when he was shot. Both victims sustained multiple gunshot wounds from what ballistics later identified as a 9mm handgun. Shell casings recovered at the scene indicated the shooter fired 7 times in total. The medical examiner's report revealed the killer stood within 3 feet of both victims, firing with precision rather than panic. No valuables were taken from the home. Christopher's wallet containing $300 remained in his pocket, and Chrissy's jewelry was untouched. This immediately suggested to investigators that robbery wasn't the motive. Most tellingly, there were no signs of forced entry, leading Detective Williams to conclude this was someone they knew, someone they trusted enough to open their door to in the middle of the night. In what investigators later described as a blessing amid tragedy, all 3 children were staying with Chrissy's mother that night. According to family members, this overnight arrangement had been planned just hours earlier, when Chrissy called her mother claiming she had a bad feeling and wanted the children away from the house. This last-minute decision potentially saved the children from witnessing the violence or becoming victims themselves. The children, aged 9, 7, and 5, were told of their parents' deaths the following day by a family therapist and child services representative. Chrissy's mother later revealed to reporters, "It's like she knew something might happen. Her last words when dropping them off were, 'Make sure they know how much I love them.'" News of the double homicide spread through Amite City with stunning speed. By mid-morning, dozens of neighbors and family members had gathered outside the police tape, many in tears, others demanding answers. Local schools initiated lockdown procedures as rumors circulated that an active shooter might still be in the area. The community's fear was palpable at an emergency town meeting held that evening. "We don't feel safe in our own homes. one resident told the sheriff. Churches opened their doors for prayer vigils, while local businesses closed early out of respect and concern. Within 24 hours, a makeshift memorial of flowers, candles, and teddy bears appeared outside the couple's home, a visual testament to a community in mourning and on edge. The Tangipahoa Parish Sheriff's Office faced immediate obstacles in their investigation. Despite the couple's active social media presence highlighting numerous conflicts, identifying a prime suspect proved difficult. Detective Williams explained, "We had too many potential suspects rather than too few. Their online disputes created a long list of people with possible motives." The crime scene yielded limited physical evidence, no fingerprints besides those of the victims and their regular visitors, and no DNA samples that didn't belong to family members. The security camera's convenient malfunction suggested technical tampering, but forensic analysis of the equipment proved inconclusive. Most frustrating for investigators was the wall of silence they encountered. Despite over 50 interviews conducted in the first week, neighbors and acquaintances provided contradictory accounts or claimed ignorance. People were clearly afraid to talk, noted Sheriff Gerald Sticker at a press conference 7 days after the murders. "We can't solve this case without the community's help, but fear is keeping witnesses quiet." As days turned to weeks without an arrest, Amite City transformed. Parents began escorting children to bus stops in groups. Local gun shops reported record sales of home defense weapons. Neighborhood watch programs formed overnight in areas that had never needed them before. Social media became a breeding ground for theories and accusations. Some residents pointed fingers at Christopher's former prison associates, while others suspected a jealous ex-partner. The most persistent rumor involved a drug deal gone wrong, though investigators found no evidence supporting this claim. "Everyone became an amateur detective," recalled Pastor James Wilson, who counseled many frightened parishioners. "The speculation was tearing our community apart." The fear extended to potential witnesses. Anonymous tips to the police hotline suggested several people had crucial information, but were afraid of retaliation. Sheriff Sticker took the unprecedented step of offering witness protection arrangements, unusual for a small-town investigation. "We're dealing with a level of fear I haven't seen in 25 years of law enforcement," he admitted during a community meeting in August. The case's turning point came in September, nearly 2 months after the murders. Advanced DNA analysis of a cigarette, but found in the couple's front yard, revealed genetic material not matching any family member or known associate. When run through the state database, it produced a partial match to evidence from an unsolved armed robbery in a neighboring parish. Simultaneously, cell tower data analysis showed a phone registered to 21-year-old Ryan Snow had pinged towers near the victim's home between 1 and 4 a.m. on the night of the murders. This same phone had exchanged text messages with Christopher's phone 3 times in the week before the killings. The final piece fell into place when ballistics experts matched shell casings from the murder scene to those from a shooting incident at an abandoned property where Snow had been previously cited for trespassing. It wasn't one big break, but several small ones that finally connected the dots, explained forensic technician Dr. Amelia Richardson. Science spoke when witnesses wouldn't. On October 12, 2024, a tactical team arrested Ryan Snow at his grandmother's home in Hammond, Louisiana. The arrest occurred without incident, though officers discovered a 9mm handgun hidden in an air vent, later confirmed as the murder weapon. Snow, a college dropout with only minor prior offenses, seemed an unlikely suspect for such a calculated crime. District Attorney Michael Thompson announced charges at a press conference the following day. 2 counts of first-degree murder and 1 count of obstruction of justice for tampering with the security camera. "We believe this was a premeditated execution," Thompson stated. "The evidence suggests careful planning rather than a crime of passion." Snow's connection to the victims initially puzzled investigators until digital forensics revealed he had been inactive, though anonymous, commenter on the couple's Facebook Live arguments. His online alias, TruthTeller985, had repeatedly antagonized Christopher, challenging his manhood and suggesting Chrissy deserved better. These digital interactions, spanning months before the murders, established a pattern of escalating hostility that culminated in violence. Despite the arrest, crucial questions remain unanswered. Why did Snow target this particular couple? Was he acting alone or at someone else's direction? Most puzzling is how he gained entry without force. As Sheriff Sticker noted, we have the who and how, but the complete why continues to elude us. Some truths may have died that night. The ripple effects of Chrissy and Christopher's murders extended far beyond the crime scene tape. Chelsea Hegwood, Christopher's sister, became the family's reluctant spokesperson. My brother wasn't perfect, but he was trying, she told reporters, her voice breaking. He deserved the chance to keep growing, to see his kids graduate. Someone stole that future from him, from all of us. Chelsea now wears a locket containing photos of both victims, a physical reminder of her promise to seek justice. Chrissy's mother, Denise Jenkins, collapsed at the funeral service held 2 weeks after the murders. I lost my baby girl and my best friend, she later shared at a community memorial. Every morning I wake up thinking it was just a nightmare, then reality hits all over again. The grandmother now raises all 3 children in her 2-bedroom apartment, having taken family leave from her nursing assistant job to provide full-time care. Extended family members described the emotional toll of explaining the inexplicable to young children. How do you tell a 5-year-old his parents aren't coming back? Questioned Christopher's cousin Marcus. How do you explain that someone chose to take them away? The family established a private social media group to coordinate childcare, therapy appointments, and financial assistance. A stark contrast to the public nature of the couple's online presence that may have contributed to their deaths. The 3 children, now without both parents, face a lifetime of processing their loss. School counselors report the oldest child has become withdrawn and struggles with nightmares, while the younger 2 exhibit regression in developmental milestones. All 3 are receiving specialized trauma therapy, funded by a community donation drive. The children's artwork, displayed at a local healing center, reveals their ongoing struggle. Their drawings frequently feature angels watching over houses and protective barriers around family figures. They're processing grief in ways adults can't always access, explained child psychologist Dr. Renee Martinez. Their sense of safety has been fundamentally altered. Rebuilding that trust will take years, not months. These children need long-term support systems that many communities aren't equipped to provide. Amite City's response to the tragedy revealed its resilient spirit. 3 days after the murders, over 400 residents gathered for a candlelight vigil at the town square. Local churches established a rotation schedule ensuring meals were delivered to both extended families for months following the deaths. A GoFundMe campaign for the Children's Education Fund exceeded its goal within 48 hours, raising over $30,000. The high school where Chrissy had briefly attended created a memorial garden with 3 benches, one for each child to visit when they need a quiet moment. Local tattoo artists offered memorial designs at reduced rates, with proceeds benefiting the children. This tragedy showed us at our worst, reflected Mayor Thomas Wilson. But the response showed us at our best. 6 months after the murders, Amite City bears invisible scars. Home security system sales have increased by 70%. The local police department now offers free social media privacy workshops. Neighborhood watch signs have sprouted on nearly every street corner. Most telling is the change in community behavior. Residents who once gathered outdoors on warm evenings now tend to stay inside. Children's birthday parties, previously held in public parks, are increasingly celebrated in private homes. We're more cautious now, more aware of who's around us, explained longtime resident Martha Johnson. That innocence doesn't come back. The arrest brought relief, but not restoration. A community forever changed by violence that began with words exchanged online. The tragedy of Chrissy and Christopher highlights the very real dangers of conducting personal conflicts in public digital spaces. When we broadcast our arguments, we inadvertently create a map of our vulnerabilities for anyone watching. Law enforcement officials now point to this case when warning about digital targeting, where predators identify victims through their online behavior patterns. Every detail shared online, from relationship problems to home security measures, can be weaponized by those with harmful intentions. The anonymity of social media creates a false sense of distance between words and consequences. As Detective Williams noted in his final case report, what begins as keyboard courage can escalate to real-world violence when online disputes spill into physical spaces. The line between virtual and actual threats has never been thinner. Recognizing potential danger requires vigilance about both online and offline warning signs. Be alert if you notice unknown vehicles repeatedly passing your home after online arguments. Take seriously any escalation, from general complaints to specific threats. Be wary of new followers or friends who appear during times of conflict and seem overly interested in your personal disputes. Pay attention to your own behavior as well. If you find yourself sharing location details, security information, or daily routines publicly, you may be creating unnecessary risk. If arguments with the same individuals persist across multiple platforms or extend beyond days into weeks, consider disengaging completely. Most importantly, trust your instincts. Chrissy's decision to send her children to her mother's the night of the murder likely saved their lives. Review your privacy settings today. Consider making accounts private or using pseudonyms for personal content. Never announce when your home will be empty. Establish a code word with trusted friends for emergency situations. Document persistent online harassment and report serious threats to local authorities immediately. Remember, not every comment deserves a response. Has this story changed how you'll approach social media moving forward? Share your thoughts below and help others learn from this tragedy. If you found this analysis valuable, please like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell to support our mission of turning true crime stories into life-saving lessons. Your engagement saves lives.